Chapter 171. Ascending the Heavenly Stairs. In the middle of the stone house, Kang Chon slowly walked out. A powerful aura revealed. Everyone on the spot was dumbstruck. Jin San Xiao exclaimed, "Damn, you pervert. When did you break through to the 8th layer of the Jidan stage?" He was incomparably shocked in his heart. Half a month ago he saw Kang Chon was still at the 7th level of the Jidan stage. Now only half a month had passed. The other party's cultivation had advanced to the 8th level of the Jidan stage. This kind of speed was too terrifying. Liu Suifeng, Wanyong, and the others were also shocked. They had watched Kang Chon's cultivation skyrocket by 1 layer in half a month. This time, the shock was too strong. No, it's the peak of the 8th level of the Jidan stage. Did you also eat the 3 transformation gold pill? Otherwise, how could you have raised it so much? Lei Yun's cultivation was also at the 8th level of the Jidan stage, and could clearly sense Kang Chon's cultivation realm at this moment. The others couldn't help but look at Kang Chon curiously upon hearing this. In their opinion, even if they were even more talented, it would be impossible for them to be able to raise a layer of cultivation in half a month just by cultivating on their own. Not bad. I did eat a 3rd turn golden pill, Kang Chon said with a smile. He had nothing to hide from Lei Yun and the others. It must be from Yan Yun, when you beheaded him, right? Jin San Xiao guessed. Kang Chon sniffed incontrovertibly. The Dan Emperor's secret naturally couldn't be told to them. It was his biggest hidden secret. Let's go. The boat is already here. We have come to the Jidan stage space for almost 3 months. We must arrive at the Yuanying stage space before the next 9 months, Lei Yun said in a deep voice. The crowd nodded at his words. Then together, they stepped into the air with their swords and flew towards a huge ship not far away. By this time, they had already seen quite a few young talents fighting somewhere, and there were countless silhouettes fighting on top of each giant ship. Kang Chon and the others came in great numbers. Their aura was unrivaled, and they immediately attracted everyone's attention. Not good. It's Kang Chon. Get out of the way. A cry of alarm rang out, and there was an outcry. Kang Chon's great name was now known to no one in Mordor Island. Seeing him arrive, everyone immediately made way. I heard that Yan Yun all died in his hands. Let's quickly dodge out of the way. Some of the young juniors had made way, allowing Kang Chon and the others to smoothly enter a giant ship. However, there were some who didn't care about Kang Chon. After all, the scene was very chaotic and many people had already killed their eyes. Quickly get out of my lady's way, or else I'll beat your family to death. Zhao Linga was very fiery. She raised a black coffin board and was invincible, but any young jungler who blocked her was smashed away by her with a coffin board. Looking at Kang Chon and the others very speechless. Heavens, it's this Demonis. Quickly get out of the way. Could it be the rumored coffin Demonis? Everyone run away. At that instant, all the young jungles around Zhao Linga dodged away, each looking at her as if they had seen a ghost, and as they directly fled the ship. HMPH. Count on you guys to know what's good for you. Zhao Linga hummed with incomparable complacency, then grumpily found a seat at the front of the boat. Boss is mighty. Goddess is mighty. Zhao Linga's group of henchmen shouted with incomparable excitement and excitement. They were still a little reluctant to follow Zhao Ling first. After all, they were forced to do so. But after spending some time together, they had been completely convinced by Zhao Linga and had all chosen to follow her to the death. Jin San Xiao and the others were incomparably shocked as they watched this scene, each of them crying and laughing. This little devil was getting more and more drawn out, even after arriving in this heaven's Dao ceiling. Demon ranking, he had still scourged a group of young geniuses. Kang Chon was also speechless to the extreme. This girl was indeed a different kind of person, but she was indeed strong, coupled with the coffin board that she had dug up from her terrifying master. I'm afraid that even Yan Yun was not a match for him. Let's go. We just happened to borrow her light, Hurry up and find a seat. The boat will be leaving soon, Liu Suifeng said with a smile. By the way, since this ship passes through the Yuanying space entrance, why don't the others follow this ship and instead fight for this position? Kang Tian asked curiously. At this time, Wang Shan, who was on the side, came over and said, "That's because the entrance to the Yuanying stage space is in the middle of a huge group of demonic beasts, where there are millions of Jidan stage demonic beasts, and if there is no protection from this ship, even Yuanying stage powerhouses would be instantly torn into pieces." This was the information he had obtained from the middle of Mordor Island. Kang Tian had been in closed-door cultivation, so naturally he was not clear about it. Kang Tian was appalled at what he heard. Millions of demonic beasts. No wonder the people were desperately fighting for the giant ship. Without the protection of the giant ship, they were afraid that they could only stay in the Jidan stage space. Moreover, the giant ship only came once every month or two. If they didn't hurry, I'm afraid that by the time they reached the entrance to the Yuanying stage space, a year would have long passed. Rumble. Soon, the giant ship let out a roaring sound and began to start up on its own. Those who didn't board the giant ship immediately panicked. One by one, they rushed onto the giant ship in a frenzy. And everywhere there were figures fighting with each other. A blazing light erupted in the sky, and the sound of rumbling was unceasing. However, immediately a pale white light curtain rose up and wrapped around the entire giant ship. Immediately those young jungles who attacked the giant ship, one by one were bounced off by the pale white light curtain. Kang Tian carefully probed this white light curtain and found that this light curtain only possessed defensive power and did not have any offensive power. It appeared to be a prohibition or formation on top of this giant ship. What a powerful means. I'm afraid that this giant ship isn't simple either. Kang Tian was surprised in his heart. Nonsense. Each of these giant ships is a top-grade treasure artifact, and many formations have been placed on it by a strong person, so naturally it's not simple. In my estimation, the owner of these giant ships is at least a harmonization stage powerhouse. Emperor Dan's voice came out. Kang Tian's eyes lit up when he heard this, and he couldn't help but think of Lei Boshan's words as he said. It said that this Heavenly Dao Demon Sealing Tablet is the Heavenly Dao Sect's Guardian Elder's Imperial Treasure Weapon. So it's not possible that these boats belong to him as well, right? Your kid's guess is about right. The Guardian Elder is one of the 4 strongest elders of the Heavenly Dao Sect, even in his heyday. The old man was not a match for him. He does possess such a means. Emperor Dan said. No way. So strong that even your old man was not a match in his heyday. Kang Tian was shocked when he heard this, knowing that Emperor Dan was a powerful person who was half a step away from ascending to the Mahayana stage. Nonsense, old me is an alchemist after all. Even if my cultivation realm is the same as theirs, I'm still no match for him. You have to know that the Guardian Elder is the guardian god of the Heavenly Dao Sect. His strength is incomparably powerful. He's already infinitely close to the Mahayana stage. Unless the old man is able to reach the Mahayana stage, he's not a match for him. Emperor Dan hummed. Kang Tian was getting more and more excited about the Heavenly Dao Sect after hearing this. At this moment, the giant ship was sailing at extreme speeds, traveling in an unknown direction, and in a short while, Mordor Island was out of sight. Hulo. In the midst of the vast sea, monstrous waves swept through the sky, and on the surging sea, a huge treasure ship came traveling. Each ship was filled with young junglers, and the face of each young jungler was filled with excitement, curiosity, and excitement. This was the group of young jungles that had set off from Mordor Island and were currently heading in an unknown direction. Kang Tian stood at the bow of one of the ships, looking out into the distance, while the others were cultivating in their cabins, hoping to further their cultivation before they reached the entrance to the Yuanying stage of space. It had already been a month since they set off from Mordor Island, and apart from observing outside at the beginning, The group had been spending their time in cultivation. Kang Tian, however, did not rush his cultivation this time, because his cultivation level was already very satisfactory to him now, and he had a complete foothold in this heavenly Tao demon ceiling ranking, so he decided to slow down his cultivation. It had been 4 months since he stepped into the heavenly Tao demon ceiling ranking, and within these 4 short months, Kang Tian's cultivation had risen from the 5th layer of the Jidan stage to the peak of the 8th layer of the Jidan stage, and this kind of speed was already very terrifying. Although the 3 transformation Golden Dan did not have any side effects, but with the strength enhanced by so much, it was always necessary to practice mastering it on one's own. Otherwise it would be putting the cart before the horse, if one was once unable to restrain one's full power. In this situation, both the Dan Emperor and Kang Tian himself felt that they should stop their cultivation and exercise their mental cultivation. Therefore, during this period of time on the giant ship, Kang Tian had been comprehending the Ice Heart skill, a Buddhist mind technique that kept his heart in a state of calmness all the time. And even though his cultivation had not increased by half a point, Kang Tian felt that he was already able to completely control all the power in his body. As he continued to comprehend the Ice Heart skill, Kang Tian realized the power of this Buddhist heart method. It was definitely a heart method with infinite wonderful uses. No wonder that Wuxia wanted to send this heart method to the 10,000 Buddhist sects, even if he died. Kang Tian felt that even if he was unable to worship the Heavenly Tao sect this time, just by obtaining this 10,000 Buddhist sect supreme heart method alone, he had not made a trip in vain. Kid, old man feels that there are a lot of demonic beasts. To many. Ahead, Emperor Dan's voice suddenly rang in his mind. Kang Tian's complexion was suddenly shaken, and a gorgeous light blossomed within his deep gaze, and his blade-like eyes fiercely slashed towards the edge of the sea in the distance. Rumble. One could only see a terrifying turbulent current stirring up. The waves were generally surging and surging. Everywhere was a raging torrent. This was an incomparably chaotic sea. From afar, it was a huge swirling mass, devouring everything that passed by. Roar, roar, roar. Suddenly, a terrifying roar came from the vast sea in the distance, shaking the heavens and shaking the earth. Immediately, everyone was awakened, and countless young jungles came out from within the ship's cabin, each looking at the distant sea with incomparable shock, only to see a behemoth-like figure slowly appeared on the sea surface. Each one was the size of a small mountain, and all of them were powerful demonic beasts at the Jidan stage. Roar. As the countless demonic beasts roared up to the sky, their blood-red eyes flickered with a cold and vicious light, and their huge bodies exuded an incomparable ferocious power. At a glance, there were millions of demonic beasts, and this terrifying aura alone made all the young jungles suck in a breath of cold air. It's incredible. There are so many Jidan stage demonic beasts in the Heavenly Tao Demon Ceiling list, and this is only one of the Jidan stage spaces. I don't know if there are so many demonic beasts in the other spaces as well. Lei Yun walked over and looked at the countless demonic beasts rushing from the distance with a shocked expression. However, a few moments later, Jin San Xiao, Zhao Linga, Liu Sui Feng, and the others also followed. Everyone's faces were filled with shock. The scene in front of them was simply too shocking. Can this light curtain protect us? Jin San Xiao glanced at the white light that wrapped around the giant ship, his eyes trembling as he asked with some uncertainty. Facing such a large number of demonic beasts, I'm afraid that even a Yuanying stage powerhouse would be instantly torn into pieces. When quantity reached an extreme, it could also trigger a qualitative change. A Yuanying stage powerhouse could fight against 1,000 Jidan stage demonic beasts. But when they met 1,000,000 Jidan stage demonic beasts, they would be the ones to die. Kang Tian looked at the endless swarms of demonic beasts on the sea in the distance, and a shock could not help but rise in his heart. But he was not worried, because through his probing, the white light curtain that wrapped around this huge ship had a very strong defense. Not to mention these millions of Jidan stage demonic beasts attacking. Even if millions of Yuanying stage demonic beasts attacked, this light curtain would be able to withstand it.